Black people, Miami is not really for you. So let me tell you something. If you are a black person and you are thinking about moving to Miami or living in Miami or spending any amount of real time here, you need to have a very strong sense of yourself.
I've been seeing quite a few videos circulating about racism in Miami, and I feel like everybody is talking about, racism going to certain restaurants, to certain clubs, that sort of thing, like entertainment wise, but nobody talks about the racism in Miami as far as working.
As someone that grew up in Florida and as a dark-skinned queen, for years, I've been saying that Miami is by far the worst city for Black women in America.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Trending Pulse Worldwide. How's everybody doing today? Let me know in the comments. Now listen, we need to talk about Miami because apparently if you're a dark-skinned black woman, the racism there is next level. And here's the kicker. It's not just coming from white folks. Nope. A lot of these women are saying it's the Hispanic community, especially in South Florida, where the population is heavily Cuban and Latino. So let's break this all down.
As someone that grew up in Florida and as a dark-skinned queen, for years, I've been saying that Miami is by far the worst city for Black women in America, specifically if you're darker than a paper bag. You would think because you're in Florida and it's diverse and there's a lot of culture that living in an environment like that would be positive for Black women. But I have not had more discriminatory experiences in nightlife than I have in Florida. And I live in Texas now. And that's literally why I live in Texas now. I had to move across the country just to get treated fairly in nice places. I have literally been kicked out of a section for being dark-skinned. The men treat you differently, the women treat you differently. Everyone thinks that they're better than you because they're lighter than you. And you're gonna be like, oh no, that's just your insecurities. No, babes. I came to Dallas, Houston, and was treated like the bad bitch 1,000 out of 10 that I am. I mean, getting invited into sections, getting free drinks, party promoters reaching out to me to come out. But in Florida, you would think I was begging on my hands and knees to get let into this club. So I'm glad that Florida specifically is being ousted as the racist state that it is. I mean, racism and colorism is everywhere, but they don't care about it in Florida. They literally promote it.
Black people, Miami is not really for you. So let me tell you something. If you are a black person and you are thinking about moving to Miami or living in Miami or spending any amount of real time here, you need to have a very strong sense of yourself. You need to know exactly who you are. You need to know exactly what the coins are. You need to be prepared to be faced with some of the most outrageous casual racism that you will ever see. It is not the same as it is in DC, LA, New York, etc., where you're dealing with a population that's used to seeing a lot of black people, from upscale black people to ratchets to middle class. They're used to seeing it all. So in Miami, if you're going to, like, let's say a hot spot, if you're going to like a Milo or a Poppy steak or whatever, you will get clocks from head to toe. They're looking at your watch. They're looking at your shoes. They're looking at your belt because they cannot comprehend how you would be here. There's no comprehension in Miami in terms of the local scene of black people with real coins, with real money, because they don't see it here. So if you're a black person and you come here and you don't know exactly who you are, then you're going to start seeing things every single day that are going to cause you to start questioning yourself, questioning who you are in the world, questioning your level of attractiveness, all of that stuff. Now, that being said, I think that Miami can be a wonderful place for a lot of people, no matter what your color is. But I really do think that it is a place that is very specific, that is very much not into black people. They will let you know in ways large and small when you are here. So if you're a black person and you're thinking about coming to Miami, just be very clear about the things that you're going to see and the things that you're going to experience and you cannot let that bother you.
You find that black people in Miami, especially dark-skinned women, are facing racism in different aspects of their lives. And it's not just the nightlife, it's in the workplace, in customer service, in how they are treated in public spaces. Now, these women are sharing their experiences and the pattern is clear. They are being excluded, disrespected, and treated unfairly. And some are saying that Miami people are so racist and they're so openly racist. They don't even try to hide it. And if you consider going to Miami, you have to know yourself, because if you don't, these people will try to make you feel less of yourself. Because honestly, if you keep hearing that over and over again, it starts messing with your self-esteem. You start doubting yourself, questioning your worth, and that can take a serious toll.
I just wanted to address this comment that was left on under this post. I in no way I am like negating what this person commented, because historically Miami has been racist. Like, let's talk about how on South Beach, black entertainers couldn't even stay in the hotels, like Fontainebleau. Black people could not stay in those hotels. They would have to cross over the bridge and stay in like Overtown or whatever. So yeah, Miami has historically been racist. Yes. I can only speak from my experience of living in Miami. I've been in South Florida 7 years, but I lived in Miami for 4 of those 7 years. And I personally have not experienced any racism. Now, it's not to say that it's not there, but Miami is also truly, neighborhood-wise, it's divided. You know, depending on what neighborhood you live, you will only see certain type of people. And that's just how it is here.
In the nightclubs, it's the same thing. If you're black but you're popular, you might get in. But if you're just a regular person, forget about it. The racism is just too much. And some of these women say they've been turned away at the door, ignored by staff, or treated like they don't belong. Now, if you thought it was just the nightlife, think again. One woman shared her experience working in Miami, saying that her own colleague, not even her boss, just another employee, was straight up racist towards her. And guess what? This colleague was Hispanic. Let's take a look at this clip.
I've been seeing quite a few videos circulating about racism in Miami, and I feel like everybody is talking about, racism going to certain restaurants, to certain clubs, that sort of thing, like entertainment wise, but nobody talks about the racism in Miami as far as working in Miami. Okay, I told this story 3 years ago on TikTok when it happened, but I didn't have the platform that I had now. But let me tell y'all about my experience working in Miami and the racism that I experienced. I only lasted 2 days at this job. 2 days. So it's 2021. I got a job at the cosmetic company store, which is a store owned by Estee Lauder. They basically sell all Estee Lauder brands. So like Bobbi Brown, Smashbox, MAC, Too Faced, Clinique, Tom Ford. Basically any stuff that didn't sell like in the department stores at their actual stands or limited edition stuff, they would sell it at the cosmetic company store at a discount. So they're opening a new store in Dolphin Mall. And if you know anything about South Florida, Miami, Dolphin Mall is an area that is pretty much Hispanic territory. Almost everybody in that area is going to be Hispanic. So I get this job. The first day, we're literally just setting up the store, okay? So we really didn't interact. We're just putting everything on the shelves. Now, my second day, because I was in school at the time, so I could only work certain hours, so I didn't get the whole full thing. So my second day is actually the grand opening of the store, and I'm working as a closer. So I get there and I'm kind of shadowing the manager because I really don't know what to do because I couldn't come in the daytime to train. So they told me, oh, the store is 30% off today. So the manager, she's a Cuban lady. She is bringing somebody out and she does not apply the discount. Mind you, this person is black. So I'm like, hey, the discount, it's 30% off. You have to apply it. And she kind of like shooed me off or whatever. She just ignored me. And so after the people left, I'm like, oh, is the discount only if they spend a certain amount? Because this lady literally only bought one thing. And she goes, oh, no, I just forgot to apply the discount. Mind you, I told the lady. And I was like, noted. Second thing, at the store, to prevent resellers, you are not allowed to spend more than $1,000. They were letting people come in, resellers, and just do multiple transactions. All of these people are Hispanic. This Asian lady comes in basically trying to do the same thing. They tell her, no, it's only one transaction per person. You can't just switch your card or do different transactions. So the lady comes back with her daughter. The daughter comes in and tries to make the purchase, and they're like, oh, she doesn't look like she's old enough. You have to be at least 16 to make a purchase here. Be so serious. That is not the rule. Like, y'all are making up stuff. So whatever the case, after some back and forth, they ended up bringing up the lady. And then the Hispanic lady, as soon as she leaves, she looks at me, a different one from the first lady, and she goes, did you see that Chinese lady come in here and try to buy everything up? And I'm just like, yeah, just like everybody else did. Now, the final straw was when they tried to accuse me of stealing. That's when I knew, okay, this is some racism. Now, if you're from Miami, you probably know this is how the Hispanics there are, but I'm not from Miami. I'm from Jacksonville, so Jacksonville is country, child. But anyways, so a black couple comes in. Nobody goes over to help them. I'm preoccupied. Nobody goes over to help them. Eventually, I get done, and I go over to help this couple. So I'm helping the wife. I help her pick out foundation, concealer, blush. I get her the whole shebang, right? They check out, and then her husband comes back, and he was like, thank you so much. He did it in front of everybody because he peeped the same thing I peeped, and he gave me a tip, y'all. So he gave me a tip. At the end of the day, we're counting down the drawer. Well, the other lady's counting down the drawer, and she looks at me, and she says, the drawer is short. How much did that man give you earlier? Didn't that man give you some cash that you put in your pocket? No, you didn't, lady. Like, no, you freaking didn't. So I said, let me count the drawer. I count the drawer. Not only is it not short, it's actually over. It's over. And she was like, oh, I must have just miscounted. No, ma'am, you didn't miscount. You're racist. You're freaking racist. You was going to probably pocket the extra money, right? So I ended up calling HR the next day, and I was like, listen, I can't work for no company. Like, I cannot work in this type of environment. I went to the store the next day during my shift. I went, put my key in an envelope, and I left a note that said, this ain't gonna work.
A lot of people assume that because both blacks and Hispanic community have faced discrimination, there'd be some kind of unity. But the reality, some Hispanics, especially lighter-skinned ones, see themselves as closer to whiteness and treat dark-skinned people accordingly. And yes, some black Hispanics are also guilty of this. And you ask yourself, why does this happen? And that's where we need to talk history. You see, Miami has always had racial tension. And when a lot of Cubans came to the US after Fidel Castro took over, they were encouraged to assimilate into whiteness, and they were given opportunities and privileges that Black Americans never got. And over time, that created a social divide, and one that still exists today. And now, darker-skinned Black people, whether Americans or Afro-Latinos, are feeling the effect. And you find that some of these people have bought into the idea that the closer you are to whiteness, the better you are. And that's a mindset that has been passed down for generations. Anyway, I want to hear from all of you. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever experienced racism like this in Miami? Drop your story in the comments. And if you're watching from Miami, let me know if you've seen this happening. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more trending stories. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.